So if you've had your burr grinder for a while and you notice that the beans aren't going through it quite as easily as they once did, it seems like some remnants of the previous beans contaminate the flavor of your next bag. And in some extreme cases, for example, if like my mom, you were too cheap to get a proper burr grinder, but you like super dark oily beans, then the thing might actually jam to the point where it's not working. All of these problems can be solved with a proper cleaning of the burr on your burr grinder. You might be asking, do I need a burr grinder? Well, I've already made a video about that. I'll post a link to that here. But the answer of do I really need a burr grinder?
Yes.
Yes, you do. If you do not have a burr grinder, if you're still screwing around with the blade grinder or pre-ground beans, the coffee community will rightly gatekeep the hell out of you for not having a proper burr grinder. If you are obsessing over which brand of beans to buy, whether it's like Green Mountain Coffee or Counterculture or Intelligentsia or something like that, and you don't have a burr grinder, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what kind of brewing method you've got going on. The first step to having a respectable coffee snob quality coffee is to have a proper burr grinder. If you don't have a proper burr grinder, you'll never find a romantic partner who loves you genuinely for who you are. Your children will never respect you. Your dogs will not let you pet them. You will not ascend to heaven, and you will reincarnate as an ant. Now, how often should you be cleaning your burr grinder? If you're in the camp of kind of dark, oily beans, they say once every 1 to 2 weeks, because those things tend to clog up more easily. Mom, I know you know this. If, like me, you're more in the camp of, say, medium light roast beans, not so oily, they say once to every 6 to 8 weeks, whatever. This is not based on any scientific principles or papers that I've read. It's just this seems to be what the people on the internet claim. I guess that's when they start to notice performance issues. But really, how often I do it is the very scientifically arrived at conclusion of whenever I get around to it. So I'm going to show you on the two grinders that I have. This is the DeLonghi KG521 burr grinder for my regular coffee type brew. It's going to be very similar to, say, a Baratza Encore, which is a really popular entry-level burr grinder most coffee communities will endorse. And then this is my Baratza Seti 270, which is a really nice low retention grinder for espresso. I'm going to show you how to clean out the burrs on this guy as well. So starting off with the DeLonghi Dedica, and again, this is going to be very similar to the Baratza Encore. You want to remove the bean hopper, may as well clean that out, as well as the grind tray, basic dish soap, scrub a little bit. And then you can leave those to dry. You want to remove your burr, which on the DeLonghi involves setting the size knob all the way to the largest and then just lifting the upper burr out. Go ahead and get that vacuum cleaner in there. Remove any big bits. Then you want to get your burr brush that probably came with the grinder. Go ahead and start brushing away all the surfaces that you can encounter on the burr, both top side and low side. And then you want to go ahead and brush all the surfaces on the lower burr, everything that's still there. And then when you finish that, go ahead and vacuum that out as well. And then you've got the grind chute, which can also jam up and accumulate particles. So go ahead and brush that out and vacuum that. And then just because there could be dust that's left behind that still clings, that the brush and the vacuum don't get, I go over with a Q-tip too. Put your upper burr back in, and you're going to notice that it only goes in one position. And when you find it, it'll just drop into place. And then go ahead and reset your grinder to the setting you had it at before. Put your bean hopper back on, and put your grinds container back in. And you've got a clean grinder. Part 2 is the Baratza Seti 270, which again I use for espresso. So you want to take your bean hopper off, go ahead and clean that the way you would, and maybe just preemptively vacuum out. Now before you remove the burr assembly, you do want to check what setting you're at, because like me, you probably use the grinder's last setting as a reference for what your next grind is going to be, which is why you want lower tension in a grinder. So once you've noted what setting you had it at, you're going to go ahead and turn the burr actually in the opposite direction until the blue lines up with the blue here. And then this is designed to be very easy to remove. It just drops right out. And you can see all the accumulated coffee dust that's here and how badly this thing really needs to be cleaned. So go for your vacuum cleaner, go ahead, get all your big bits out there, go over it with your burr brush. And you'll find with the Baratza 270 that there's a whole lot of grinds that accumulate right here at the plastic support brackets that hold the burrs into the assembly. Just that's a part of the design. Probably this is responsible for the vast majority of retention that you observe in this grinder. So go ahead, brush out your burrs, go through it with a Q-tip if you want to get the fine dust off, go through it with a vacuum. And then back to the chute, which is probably also accumulated grinds. So go over that with your brush. And then go over that with your vacuum cleaner. So you're going to put your burr assembly back in again. You have to rotate until you can get the slot to line up with the slot, and then just get the blue points aligned. And then when you find it, you'll know. And then just rotate it back into place on the setting that you had before. Notice if you didn't keep track of this, you'll have completely lost that information. Take your bean hopper, which is now newly clean and dry, replace it on top, and you'll have yourself a cleaned out burr grinder. So thanks for watching. Remember to stay coffee snobby.